So now we'll come over to what your problems are about the Bible.
Well, I have too many things.
Let's go through. Pick your top 3 and we'll talk through them.
All right. Okay. Okay. I have my top 2, and then I think about something else.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you about a general one. What do you think about Daniel 2?
Daniel
2.
2.
Like the rock that comes after kind of the 4 kind of empires.
Yeah.
That comes after the Romans and is sent from God.
Yeah.
And that's supposedly, like, I've heard that's Islam, because it comes right after the Romans and it destroys all the 4 empires.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't study prophecy as a thing. That's not generally where I study. So what I'm saying to you is that I would have to go away and research that question.
Yeah. Okay,
and then come back to you with an answer.
All right.
And because I don't want to waffle, I don't want to make something up.
All right.
And I don't want to guess.
Because I really want to have an answer for that one, because it's one of the main ones for me.
But go on.
Did you say Daniel 2, sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it clearly prophesies kind of an empire or someone or a nation, nation mainly, that's going to come after the Romans, that's going to destroy the Romans and kind of the 4 main empires that were at the time. And that nation is sent from God.
But but God also, so here's the thing, because Muslims often, for the sake of this discussion, let's assume that your exegesis of the passage is 100% accurate, and that is actually what Daniel was saying.
You got to tell me.
Yeah. Let's assume that is true.
Yeah.
Right. Muslims try to build what I would say is erroneous teaching on top of that, because if you read Isaiah says that Xerxes, who was a pagan Persian, is used by God, is sent by God to do God's will. Right? It says that in Isaiah. But you would agree with me, I am sure, that doesn't mean that Xerxes' religion is true.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yep.
So even if Daniel 2 does say that Islam is the religion that's being sent by God, it doesn't mean that it's a true religion, because in other places in the Bible, we see that God sends the Babylonians, the Assyrians. God sends the Assyrians. God sends the Babylonians. In fact, God sends the Babylonians to destroy the Assyrians, and then he sends the Persians to destroy the Babylonians.
I think, though, the interesting thing, at least about Daniel, is that they called the holy people.
Yeah.
So if it's called holy, at least I'd say
let's
in terms of religion, it's gotta be.
Well, no, it doesn't necessarily. It wouldn't.
If you call someone a holy people, it cannot mean that they have kind of.
What does holy mean? What does holy mean?
It means holy.
What does holy mean?
Sacred.
What does sacred mean?
I don't know how to explain.
Right. So let me explain, because I actually know. So holy and sacred means set apart for a special purpose. Right. So the church is called a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people set apart for God. That's how the church is described, right? So the church is described holy by the Bible. Israel is also described as holy. Yeah. If the Bible describes a people as holy, all that it's saying is that they are set apart for a special purpose. It doesn't mean that what they believe is true, or that God agrees with what they believe, or that they're safe from hellfire.
But is that the meaning of the word in Hebrew, or is it just in English?
No, that is literally from Hebrew to English.
All right.
Literally from Hebrew to English. Okay. Without even going through Greek, I'm going straight from Hebrew to English.
All right, cool.
Yeah?
I just want to know.
So my point to you is that if Muslims are saying to you, oh look, Islam is prophesied in the Bible, and for the sake of this argument, not even going to dispute it because it's not my specialty, but what I would point out to you is that just because God maybe separates out the Arabs for a special purpose, so therefore they're a holy people, and he gives them victory, it doesn't mean their religion is true. And the reason why we know that is because Cyrus, in the book of Isaiah, Cyrus, who is named in the book of Isaiah, is said to be sent by God to do God's will. But Cyrus was a stone, fire-worshipping pagan who bowed down to rocks. So God using a people for a purpose doesn't mean that God agrees with their religion.
Okay.
Next question.
Isaiah 42.
What about Isaiah 42?
I have a problem with that being about Jesus.
Go on. Let's look at it. Let's pull it up.
I actually know this one, funny enough.
Yeah.
You know the answer?
I think so, yeah.
Right. You tell me if you've got the same answer that I have.
First of all, there's a bit of dispute in the translation because I've seen.
Yeah.
For example, I've seen translation where it says in. Well, wait, give me a second. It says, and the islands will await his law.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
And then there are other translations which say the kind of.
So it's Khyber. It mentions Khyber.
What?
Mentions Khyber.
Who's Khyber?
The region in Arabia, the Khyber Valley, the Khyber Pass.
Kedar.
Yeah.
Kedar.
Kedar. Sorry, yes, you're right, I'm wrong. Right, so let's just read that passage in context.
Yep.
Right? Because my point to you is, bro, and I mean this in all sincerity, is when Muslims make these kinds of arguments, they're relying on your ignorance more than your knowledge. And they're distorting information, and I'm going to demonstrate how that's done. So they draw your attention to this bit, right? They draw your attention to this bit. They say the settlements where Kedar inhabits.
Not just that bit. I want to start from the very top.
Right, well, let's just deal with this bit first, and then we'll go back to the top, because this is where you started. You mentioned this bit.
No, I mentioned...
Was this the bit
okay.
that you mentioned? Or where did you
You mentioned the islands.
Yeah, that's at the very top.
You're right. Okay, so it's down here, down by the sea. The islands, you islands, and those who dwell in them.
Yeah, but...
So it's here. So it's actually here.
No, it's actually here. There's another one. This is the one where it's the dispute in translation I was talking about.
Okay, so let's come up here then. We'll start from the top. But I just want to point, before we start, we will go to the top. As you've seen with the Arabic, I'm a man of my word, we'll go to the top. But the point is, when you read the bit about Kedar in context, Kedar is just one of many places that are mentioned geographically, including Jerusalem. In Sela, Jerusalem, right? And it also talks about down by the sea, talks about the islands, it talks about the wildernesses and its cities, it talks about Jerusalem, it talks about on the mountains, it talks about the coastlands.
I can talk about every single...
So my point is, all of these places are mentioned. But Muslims want to say, because it mentions Kedar, it must mean Muhammad, and that's just rubbish.
That's not what I say, though.
All right, that's fine. I just wanted to point out. So let's go from the top. Okay. So tell me when you want me to stop.
Yeah.
Behold my servant whom I uphold, my chosen one in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring forth justice to the nations.
Yeah, right there.
Right, go on.
This is where it says in Arabic and in Hebrew, not in Hebrew because I can't hear Hebrew. But I've read the same website. You know what the website was? It called? But anyways, it says one of them in Arabic. It says, "And the islands will await his law," and the English says, "And he put forth justice to the nation," or it says, "In him nations will put their hope."
Yeah.
And that's kind of a very key point for me because the islands will await his law. Then that is more close to Prophet Muhammad because the island is Saudi Arabia and he had the law, but Jesus did not have the law.
No, not at all. Firstly, the reason why it clearly can't be Muhammad is because the rest of the passage doesn't fit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you why. I'm gonna show you why. Right? I'm gonna show you why. But talking about we neither of us can deal with the translation issue because I don't have Arabic on me right now. You don't have the Arabic that you're referencing. We're just dealing with the English. So let's just deal with this passage as is written here.
Yeah,
right?
That's one of the main key things that I wanted to kind of ask
about. Whether it should be islands or not?
Whether it should be... The word law is the key word for me, because if the islands are going to await his law, then surely, Do
you understand that we Christians believe Christ brought a law?
What law?
The law of love.
I thought he abolished the law.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Christians believe that Christ brought a law. We teach that Christ brought a law.
What law?
It's the law of love. Right? It's a command. He says to me and my brother, right? So as we do, that makes sense. The Father, who is Yahweh, is sending the Son, who is Yahweh. Who believes Jesus is God? Christians. The one who is being sent is Yahweh. It literally says that there, that capitalization of Lord, that in Hebrew just means Yahweh. Yeah, so it's saying Yahweh will go forth. But it was up here talking about someone else. So not only do we see the plurality of the divine, i.e. that there's more than one person within the divinity, but we also see it can't be Muhammad unless you're willing to say that Muhammad is Yahweh.
The other thing I would say that is I've seen instances where, not I've seen, but I've seen like from the discussion is that there are other places in the Testament where it uses Yahweh, says the I as Yahweh, but it refers to an angel, it refers to another servant of God.
Well, I would like you to show me those passages because I would argue that what that actually demonstrates is that there is a Trinity in the Old Testament.
No, that demonstrates is that when Yahweh says I, he just means someone who is servant, he's his angel.
Well, if you want to bring an example, we'll talk about it. You bring an example, we'll talk about it.
I'm not sure where I can get that example,
right.
but
you've heard that in discussion, you said.
Yeah, I've heard that and I've seen it and I've kind of...
Well, if you've got an example, let's look at it. Let's look at it. But my point is, this clearly can't be Muhammad, because the passage is saying that Yahweh is the one who's being sent. Yes. And he's being sent by Yahweh. Yahweh is sending Yahweh. That only makes sense if you believe in the Trinity.
Yes, that would be true, but if I bring you the verses where it says, where it uses Yahweh as I, but talking about some angel or some other prophet.
You bring that and we'll talk about it.
Yes, next week.
Next week. That's absolutely fine. Okay, next question. Next issue that you want to raise.
I just don't want to forget.
I actually want to remember that because I know, and for me, I guess when you put this in full context,
So my point is, this passage can't be Muhammad. It really can't be Muhammad.
Sorry, Bob, to cut you off.
Yeah, go on.
You thought, I think there's a point when he mentioned about and he'll be a man of war.
Yeah.
I think you're about to speak, but was you thinking that also?
I'm talking about the whole passage because you said we thought we take Qadar by itself, but that's not my position. What I say is, you who go, where does it start? Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord a new song. So there's the new song.
Do Muslims sing? Is music halal or haram?
But not song, literally. But
No. Actually, you know what the Hebrew word for song is?
What?
Song.
What is it?
It's literally.
NSC.
It's song. It's like the thing is that is translated as song for a reason, because the Hebrew says song. So when it says song, it means song. Hebrews sing, Christians sing, do Muslims sing?
Wait, what do you
in the mosque, do Muslims sing to Allah?
No, but
in the synagogue, do Jews sing to Yahweh?
That's what I'm going to ask.
Yes.
How do they sing?
Yeah, in the temple, they sing psalms. Like all the psalms are psalms of ascent. If you look at temple worship as described in the Bible, and you look at Christian church worship, they look alike. They look alike, bro. We sing in church because we are singing a new song. We are the ones who are singing the new song. And what is the new song that we're singing? We're singing the new song of Carmen Christi, which Carmen Christi is a passage in the New Testament that it was a hymn. It was an early Christian hymn that is written down in the New Testament. It was a song, and it talks about, and he who did not think that equality with God was something to be grasped, humbled himself to take on the form of a servant. That was a Christian song. A song that had never been sung in Israel before, but the Jewish Christians started to sing. So it was literally a new song. So our fulfillment of this prophecy is more clear to yours, because what you have to say to make this fit Muhammad is to say, well, when it says new song, it doesn't actually mean song. So if you don't think it means song, what do you think it means?
I don't know, Adan, for example.
What?
Adan. It has kind of a...
The Adan's not a song.
It's not a song, but it sounds like it has a...
Wait. Look what it says in the next line. Look what it says. Sing his praise from the end of the earth.
Yeah.
Do Muslims sing the praise of Allah?
Yeah.
Do you sing?
Not sing, but...
Exactly, bro.
It's for someone who's not Muslim, it might sound like a song.
But do Christians sing?
Yeah, they sing.
Yes. So who's closer to fulfilling this prophecy, Christians or Muslims?
But if you take the word song as that...
Yes, song, because that's what it means, song.
Yeah,
and sing, because that's what it means, sing. What's sing mean? What's a sing?
Sing, we know what sing means.
Yeah, right then. So if you know what sing means...
I've heard people... No.
Brother, if you know what sing means, then you know that Muslims don't sing, but Christians do.
Yeah, I know what you...
Right then.
Exactly what you mean.
Yeah, obviously, if you had more knowledge, obviously, in reading the Bible, even Psalms, like, it's all over. It's plastered all over the Bible. That's how it's part of our prayers.
It's always part of our prayers. That's why, and don't get me wrong, sometimes you walk into a church and they're so out of tune, it's painful. Right? That happens. It happened this morning at my congregation. Like, it was painful, bro. But the point is, it says, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, not one that's in tune. You know? The Psalms of Ascent were songs that the Jews would sing as they went up to Jerusalem. So the Jews sang. Christians sing. Muslims don't sing. This ain't about them. But since you showed me a passage from here, let me show you one. Look what's been said here, right? Look what's being said here. Bear with me, right? I will also hold you by the hand and watch over you. This is Yahweh speaking.
Yeah.
And I will appoint you as a covenant to the people. This is Yahweh speaking. As a light to the nations, to open blind eyes, to bring out prisoners from the dungeon, and those who dwell in darkness from the prison. I am Yahweh, that is my name. I will not give my glory to another, nor my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things have come to pass. Right? So when you read this scripture, think about what Jesus said that in my body and my blood the new covenant is established. It doesn't say a new law. It doesn't say, and your law will be a new covenant, that I will establish my covenant upon your law. It says, and I will appoint you, the person, as a covenant. So the actual person is the covenant. Now Christians, he's a brother in Christ. Do you believe Jesus Christ is the place of the new covenant? We believe that we are united in Christ. That's what makes us participants of the new covenant. Yeah? Do Muslims believe that Muhammad or the Sharia is the new covenant?
No, we don't use the word covenant.
Exactly. But it says here that a new covenant will be established in the person. So that can't be Muhammad. And I will appoint you as a covenant to the people. So the person is to be the covenant to the people. Muhammad is not that person.
I want to shed light back onto the law thing at the very beginning, because now I remember, it just came to mind. The word used, and the audience will await his law. The word used is Sharia, which kind of...
What, up here?
Yeah, up there.
What, in Hebrew?
I don't know about Hebrew.
It's not in Sharia is not a Hebrew word. So this is not here in the Hebrew.
But I say Arabic translation is always more accurate.
Well,
they
the Hebrew is more accurate. The Hebrew is the most accurate.
Yeah, it's the most accurate, sure.
No, I'm sorry. It is not more accurate to say Sharia than it is to say law.
No, it is, yes, because the Sharia has a specific meaning. Sharia actually means, it's not, Islamic Sharia is not a specific word for law, but Sharia means kind of the laws. Yeah,
what I would say is, I just don't agree with Arabization. I don't believe that the Arabic language is a superior language. And so I don't agree that it's a more accurate word to use Sharia than it is to use the English word law.
No, I would say, because they're both Semitic languages, they're more closer to each other.
I still disagree. I don't agree that it cannot be translated accurately. The Hebrew word, which I think is Torah, I think the Hebrew word is Torah. I'll have to check. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I think it's Torah.
Torah.
Yeah, and I think that means law in my understanding of the Hebrew.
Sure.
But I could be wrong. I don't know. Right? But my point is, all you're doing is it's just semantic. It's just called sophism. That's what you're doing right now. You're just appealing. Oh well, Sharia is more accurate because
I'm bringing forth because I talked about law and you said law of love, and I'm telling you why.
But this doesn't. But what you've got to understand is, by your logic, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere where that Hebrew word that we translate as law is used anywhere in this Bible, where the same word is used. In the Arabic, it will be translated to Sharia.
Yeah.
But that same word will have been used about Moses' law. So what I'm saying is, it can't be any kind of evidence that Muhammad is the one being spoken about, even if you're right that translating it into the Arabic Sharia is better than translating it into the English law, because that same word would have been used about Moses. And when you translate it into Arabic, you would have used the same word, Sharia. So it's not a proof that Muhammad is being spoken of here.
I'm not saying it's proof. I'm just saying I'm bringing up a piece of evidence. Why?
To what though? Evidence to what? Because you're arguing that this is Muhammad.
Why the law of love could not possibly is not what maybe it's referring to.
Well, I don't think that. I think that's a very spurious argument. Really spurious.
Well, like you said, then I'm gonna have to investigate forth like the use of this particular word in in general in the whole New Testament, Old Testament, and I don't have a problem with that. I'll do my work.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did Muhammad ever kill someone?
Yeah.
Right. This is why it can't be Muhammad. This says, this is speaking. He will not cry out or raise his voice.
Yeah, I did not cry out or raise his voice.
What, he didn't in battle?
No, he did. Wait.
Nor make his voice heard in the street.
He did not.
A bruised reed he will not break, and a dimly burning wick he will not extinguish. That means he won't take a life. He won't take a life. Muhammad took lives. The person that's coming kills no one. Did Jesus Christ ever kill anyone?
No. Well,
Can't be Muhammad.
What is it? What's the? I would say just not killing wrongfully, because you know the second, or what covenant is it? Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
But then you have killings all over the place. So what does that mean?
I'm going to give you another reason why it's not Muhammad.
No, I would. Can you just
go on? Sorry. What?
You said he did not he killed. So
yes.
It's not him.
Yeah.
And I said that maybe means that he did not kill anyone wrongfully, because we find in the covenant.
Yeah.
That it says thou shalt not kill, but then you have killings all over the place.
Well, I don't think that applies, because it's in this text. It says a bruised reed he will not break, a dimly burning wick he will not extinguish. So the fact that it's giving these sort of a bruised reed or a burning wick he will not extinguish.
Where's because these words are kind of.
He will faithfully bring forth justice. Right. Let me ask you this question, because I want to show you again that this is not and cannot be Muhammad.
Yeah.
When Muhammad first got revelation, was he happy or sad about it?
He was not happy nor sad. He was scared.
He was scared?
Yeah.
Did Muhammad ever become depressed?
No.
Are you sure?
I've heard some of the things.
Can you look up whether he definitely? You look that up. You look up. You find for me where Muhammad gets depressed. Pull that up.
Can I talk?
Oh, he becomes sad when he goes. Yeah, I've heard some.
Did he?
He was depressed when the revelation stopped. All of it.
Yeah. So he became depressed. Right. This is why it can't be Muhammad. Look.
Not depressed, but sad.
No. Pull it up, because he doesn't believe. Listen to what the scriptures say. Right. It says, "He will not be disheartened or crushed." Was Muhammad ever disheartened when the revelation stopped?
Disheartened, what does that mean?
Means to sort of feel low, to feel down, to feel sad.
Yeah.
He wasn't he? Well, it says very clearly, according to the man that is being sent by Yahweh, will not be disheartened. Will not be disheartened. So this can't be Muhammad.
Was Jesus ever disheartened?
No.
You sure?
Yes. He wept, but that weeping is not the same as being disheartened.
Why not?
Because when you weep, you can.
It's you cry for a moment of time. Disheartened. How can I explain it?
It's like you're discouraged emotionally within yourself. Your emotional framework is heading downwards. Like someone who's sad, like as an experience that affects your entire mood. When you're sad because your mum dies, doesn't mean that you're disheartened about life. I mean, it can lead to being disheartened about life, but it doesn't follow. God forbid, your mum passes away. Like, may she live many, many years. But when your mother passes away, it doesn't necessarily follow that you're going to be discouraged about life, does it? You'll be sad that she passed away, but say she lived into her 90s, even if she died, you'd be sad, but in a way you'd be happy because she lived at the ripe old age.
Yeah.
Right? So being sad isn't the same as being disheartened. Muhammad was disheartened, Jesus was sad, but Jesus was never disheartened, and Muhammad was also sad as well. So these aren't the same thing. So this can't be Muhammad. The thing is, bro, your Muslim teachers are lying to you. The people that give you this kind of information, they're lying to you, because what they're relying on is that you're not carefully reading the text. They're not.
Yeah, but then you say that, but then at the same point, when I point out to some words like laws and things, you say that's semantics. That doesn't matter. Or song.
Which no. Because go on, show me where I've said that you're playing. That was about Sharia.
Yeah.
Because you're relying on this idea of translation.
Yeah.
And what I pointed out to you, if you follow my logic, is that the word that, like, let's just say that you're right. Right, there's an Arabic translation of the Old Testament that uses the word Sharia about law. Right, that's fine.
Yeah.
But that same word, where it appears in other parts of the Old Testament, will also be translated as Sharia. But it clearly cannot be about Muhammad, because it'll be talking about the law of Moses. So just because the word Sharia is used doesn't mean that Muhammad is being indicated.
Can you repeat that? The thing about, because so you're saying is, what you're saying is, if the word is used in other places, it would mean that it's talking about Moses only.
No, I'm saying that the word law that we've got in Isaiah will be used all the way through the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And if the translators are doing a good job, they'll translate the word the same way in the Arabic.
Yeah.
Just because the word Sharia may be, I'll go with you, let's pretend that you're right.
Yeah.
And it is more accurate to say Sharia than it is to say law.
Yeah.
It still doesn't mean that it's talking about Muhammad.
No,
it
means,
won't mean that. It doesn't mean that.
Yeah, that's not what I'm not saying it means that. What I'm saying is that at least it means not a law of love, but it means an actual law. You know what I mean? A law.
But then you don't know what a law of love is then, do you? A law of love...
Sharia is, at least, what I'm going to say is, this law of love cannot be a Sharia.
How do you know?
Because Sharia is a specific type of law.
What is it?
Sharia is an actual book of law, like, you know what I mean, like a parliament kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the Islamic Sharia, something that's what Sharia means.
Do you know that Christians have built civilizations on Christ's teachings? Armenians.
Not laws.
Yes, laws. My gosh, yes.
What laws?
You don't understand. You don't understand how Christianity works. But we're going to get. So the thing is, Christianity is a complete way of life. It isn't just for how to organize your own life. It's also a way to organize society. But within that, we don't have it all prescribed, and neither do Muslims. To be honest, you don't have it all prescribed either. No, you don't.
What? How?
Well, there's loads of things that Muslims disagree about.
Yeah, but
I'll give you an example. When is it right to carry out abortion?
Different days.
Yeah, they give different dates.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
Abortion?
Yeah.
When?
Right, so
about 30 days.
Some Muslims say that you can have an abortion after 40 days. Some Muslims say an abortion after 90 days. Some Muslims say an abortion after 120 days. Not after 120 days. And that's the majority position. Yeah. Muslims have different attitudes towards marriage. Like how do you divorce? Is it say I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, and we're divorced? Or is it I divorce you, I have to wait 3 days, then say I divorce you, I have to wait 3 days, and then say I divorce you? Yeah. So Muslims ain't got some specified law. They're using exactly what Christians use, but Christians just do more of it, which is this idea that we take the principles and the doctrines and the values and the ethics of Christianity, and then we think about, okay, how do we make a law out of that? Muslims do the same, it's just we do more of the same.
I don't know.
You know? But I've shown you very good reasons why this can't be Muhammad. Have you found where Muhammad was depressed?
Basically, I've got...
But that's only the second part of that would
no,
be...
but it says he will not be disheartened or crushed.
Okay.
So this is one. So this is one I was sharing with my friend when I should remain alive. But after a few days, Waraka died, and the divine inspiration was also paused for a while, and the prophet became so sad, as we have heard, that he intended several times to throw himself from the tops of...
Now, do you think that sad people that try to commit suicide are depressed?
There's a lot of dispute around that about the suicide thing. I'm not going to go into it because
But would you agree? Would you agree if someone tried to commit suicide, they're depressed?
I'm not going to agree that's authentic. That's what I'm not going to agree on. So
that's
I
fine.
cannot dispute that.
Right, but my point is, we've got evidence of Muhammad being depressed. Whether you want to dispute that evidence is up to you. But from my perspective, the prophecy says he'll never be disheartened. Islamic sources say that he was disheartened. So clearly, this can't be Muhammad.
All right. Well, let's move to the second part of the thing, which is why would this be about Jesus?
Okay, so why is this about Jesus? Great question. And to summarize, the reason is because Yahweh is sending Yahweh. Name me another religion or another prophetic figure that is acclaimed as God.
Can I ask you what?
No, answer my question. Which Israelite figure of the Jewish people is acclaimed as God?
I don't know.
Jesus is the only one, bro.
He is the only one, to be fair.
He's the only one. And who acclaimed him as a God? Jewish Christians.
All right. I forgot what I was gonna say. What's the Jewish interpretation of that?
Well, obviously, the Jews of today, right, don't believe that this is a prophecy about Jesus.
Yeah, but what's their explanation?
I don't know. Go and ask a Jew.
They believe that it's a Jewish state.
Well, no, actually, can I just say, I actually think that they say, I think, and a Jew can correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I'm not claiming to be a scholar, But I think that they do see this as a messianic prophecy. I do think that they think
I think so.
that this is about the Messiah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I've heard that.
Right? Yeah. And I would make the same arguments to the Jews that I'm making to you. My point is that the first Christians were all Jews.
Yeah.
So this ain't some Gentile Jewish argument. This is a Jewish on Jewish argument. Jews are arguing with Jews. First century Jews versus Talmudic 5th century Jews. But out of all the religions that claim to be Abrahamic, Christianity is the oldest. We are older than the rabbinic Judaism of today. Because their religion is formed out of the Talmud, and the Talmud is a 5th century document. Our religion is formed out of Jewish texts that are called the New Testament, and they're a 1st century document. So Christianity is older than Judaism.
I'm going to come back to this.
Yeah.
I need to go in.
Bro, what's your name?
Amir.
If you want, we can go and grab a cup of tea now and continue our conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Right, let's go.
I haven't done this.
Yeah. A very quick wrap up. Amir's a sincere and genuine person, so be kind. And we demonstrated that there are real problems with the hadith literature that Muslims use. We've demonstrated that Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 1, Hadith 7, is a clear work of propaganda and fiction that has information being related by people that don't appear in the isnad chain and that they could not possibly have had access to. And that demonstrates that there's a problem with Sahih al-Bukhari. Because if that hadith is fiction, then what other fictions are in Sahih al-Bukhari? Bearing in mind it's supposedly built on a reliable isnad chain. And then Amir authored the usual kind of Islamic script, but he did it with a sincere heart. But it is the usual Islamic script. And we demonstrated how all of those arguments quickly collapse with just a little bit of knowledge of the scripture. Enjoy the video. God bless. Pray for Amir. I'm going to go get a cup of tea with him now. I'll come and join you later, JC.